Good day, gentle viewers. In today's news, sequels, Spice and Wolf gets a Brotherhood remake, as well as news on Viz Media raising prices, and a hotel strike that might affect Anime Expo. All of that alongside a look at the spring 2023 anime seasonal rankings. So without any further ado, I am Tristan Gallant and welcome to Glass Reflection. Let's jam. So let's start off today with the super awesome and amazing news. Oshinoko is getting a season 2. Now that's not the super amazing awesome news, but considering we are about to talk about sequels and remakes, it is worth mentioning as an aside, just so that I can say that I did. But Spice and Wolf is getting a new adaptation. I don't know if you know how happy this announcement makes me. Like, Spice and Wolf was one of the first series I originally covered here on this channel during my very first year on YouTube, and that video came out in like early 2010, I want to say, but I have watched it and been following the series since its anime adaptation came out in 2008. I even have the series right here, actually. Ba-bum. And back at home, like, I own the light novel for Spice and Wolf twice over in some cases. I purchased that massive brick of a tome that is the novel's collector's edition, but since that, massive hunk of processed wood is so unwieldy, I also own a decent chunk of the light novel in its smaller volume format. It's a lot easier to read. And I've been a fan of this series for a long freaking time now. And if you ever watched my video on the original anime's second season, yes, that is the second season, you will know how upset I have been at that particular ending. Like how it chose not to resolve a bunch of things, how so much about the characters and the world were just left hanging. Not only that, but the anime really only scratches the surface of what is offered in the light novels, because I mean, maybe only 4 or 5 of them have actually been adapted, and that's with them jumping around a few times, as anime tends to do. Currently, the light novel has 24 volumes, and that's to say nothing about the spin-off series Wolf and Parchment, which I would also love to see adapted at some point. So, about this new series, what do we know? Well, we have been told that the director and episode director from the original series are coming back. We know that the original composer, however, for this series is not coming back, and they have been replaced in the new adaptation by the wonderful and amazing Kevin Penkin, which I am both, I'm excited about it, but also a tiny bit sad. The original Spice and Wolf OST has been one that I have been listening to on and off for literal decades now, since 2008, however you want to calculate that. And it'll be weird watching this new series when it has a completely different musical identity. I always kind of wished that anime franchises, or just franchises in general with multiple composers, were able to subtly rip leitmotifs from one another without getting too far into the weeds how that would work legally. But also, in this particular case, if anyone could make their own music and still make it feel like Spice and Wolf, I do believe it to be Kevin Penkin. So while I am saddened, yes, by knowing that I'm not going to have one of those moments where old music that I am familiar with plays on my emotions in this new adaptation, I instead will look forward to new music playing on my emotions, because we already got that a little bit in the trailer. They did release a trailer, and it seems to be telling us that this is not a sequel or a season 3 to the original series, as all of the scenes in the trailer seem to mostly come from the first couple of chapters of the novel, which has been adapted previously. As far as what the rest of the series will hold, well then that's anyone's guess, since they haven't told us. As I mentioned before, there is a massive amount of content that exists for them to adapt, and we have no idea how far they actually plan to take this adaptation, what they will skip, how many episodes we can expect, and so on. No clue whatsoever. So while this ostensibly is a Brotherhood remake of Spice and Wolf, the lack of info on how much of a remake it'll be makes me a tiny bit nervous. If this new adaptation only goes so far as the original anime, then I would question, well, what's the point? But if it goes beyond that, which I hope it does, and these initial episodes are just for setup, then it could be fine. But we'll just have to see. We don't have a solid release season per se, but we have been told that it won't come out until 2024 at the earliest. So we could only be waiting 6 months, or we could be waiting a year. It depends on when they get production wrapped up. And in any case, this is some of the best news that I have had to share in a long time, and I can't wait for this series. This new Spice and Wolf to finally come out. Viz Media, a prominent manga publisher, is planning to increase the prices of its manga volumes starting in January 2024. Currently, Viz prices their manga at $9.99 USD per volume, and the cost will now rise to $11.99 per volume. This adjustment will apply to both new volumes of ongoing series as well as any future releases by the company. It's worth noting that the previous standard of $9.99 did not actually apply to all releases from the publisher. Some titles, like Golden Kamui for example, already carry a price tag of $12.99 per volume. Now, this price increase info comes from major e-commerce platforms such as Amazon and Barnes & Noble, as they have already updated their listings to reflect the new pricing for manga volumes released after January 1st, 2024. However, it is important to understand that Viz's revised pricing will still be in line with what other English-language manga publishers currently offer. Kodansha USA, for example, sells standard single volumes of manga for $12.99, while Yen Press charges $13. Seven Seas Entertainment, who we have spoken about before, has a price range of $12.99 to $14.99 for their manga volumes. It should also be noted that this isn't the first time that Viz Media has adjusted its pricing. Back in 2009, they increased the prices of Shonen Jump and Shoujo Beat manga volumes from $7.99 and $8.99 to just $9.99. And lastly, these price increases seem to only affect the sale of manga volumes from Viz, and not, as of yet, their manga apps and related services. The Viz manga app remains currently priced at $1.99 USD for a monthly subscription, and its more specific Shonen Jump app is still priced at $2.99 USD for a monthly subscription, keeping in mind that both of those apps are still only available in the US and Canada for the time being. Now, before we continue, I wanted to give shoutouts to supporters of this channel over on Patreon. Because yes, this video is not sponsored, and the more support that we receive over there, the less sponsors that Glass Reflection will need at any given time. So an immense thank you, especially to patrons like Ross Emerson, Omar Showman, Sailor Arashi, Hector Montemayor, Wago221, City Yamako, and Ryfen Bonaparte. We can't continue this without your support, so however much you are able to help, I am eternally grateful. If you are planning on attending Anime Expo soon in Los Angeles, this next bit is for you. Unite Here Local 11, Southern California's largest hospitality union, has announced on its website that its members have voted to authorize a potential strike at numerous hotels starting as early as the July 4th weekend, if a satisfactory agreement is not reached. Now, this strike would involve approximately 15,000 workers, making it the largest hotel worker strike in modern U.S. history. The union, which represents over 32,000 workers, including room attendants, cooks, dishwashers, front desk agents, servers, and food service workers, has outlined key demands. These include an immediate $5 hourly wage increase to address rising housing costs, affordable family health care, a pension plan ensuring retirement security, and a manageable workload that prioritizes their safety and well-being. The decision to authorize a strike follows a month of unsuccessful negotiations, which began back on April 20th between the union and major hotel employers, such as Hyatt, Hilton, Highgate, Accor, IHG, and Marriott. So for Anime Expo attendees, while if you are planning on just going to like an Airbnb-like thing scenario or just shacking up with a local friend, you should be fine. But if you have a hotel booking, please keep in mind that some things may not go as well as you may have hoped from your hotel lodging that weekend. Of course, there is still time for the situation to change, but it always helps to be prepared for the worst case scenario. So to those of you in those situations, both the workers of the union and of course the attendees of AX, you have my sympathies. And lastly, for today, we are going to be talking and looking at the anime trending rankings. Now, looking at the chart itself, it seems that not much has changed since last week. We seem to be nearing the end of the season, and a lot of things have solidified their place, only changing ever so slightly. So for example, Heavenly Delusion is still remaining in its first place position, having been there for 3 entire weeks. Now, Heavenly Delusion has finished at least this particular season. We don't know yet if it's going to be getting another season, and it's not like this adaptation actually ended things. It just happened to finish a particular arc. So now I am actually pretty curious how that is going to change things in the coming weeks, as Heavenly Delusion will probably be kicked off this ranking for the last week or two because, you know, it's done now, it's finished. Which from Mercury has moved into the second position, kicking Hell's Paradise down into third. The Dangerous in My Heart has jumped ahead into fourth, knocking down both Oshinoko and Insomniac's Actors School. Demon Slayer has re-entered the top 10 at number 7, not kicking down Kubo, which remains in 8th place, but essentially dropping Skip and Loafer down 2 positions and Ray Liana down 1 into 10. So this marks the third week that a lot of these entries are still here. Now, we are nearing the end of the season. Some of these shows are going to be ending. Some are going to be continuing in one shape or another. Oshinoko has confirmed that it is going to be getting a second season, and that information was confirmed at the end of its most recent episode, which is also the final episode for its show this season, so it'll probably get knocked off the list next week as well. So really, I feel like this is going to be the final kind of full list of everything, and now absolutely everything beyond this is just kind of the wrap up and seeing what sticks around. I'm not entirely sure how accurate I will trust this particular ranking from here on out from the rest of the season, because once we remove things from the list, all that's going to be left is saying, oh, well, suddenly Witch from Mercury is the most popular anime. And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's only because Heavenly Delusion is done now. So that's not really fair. It is much better at this point, I feel, to potentially just wait it out until the entire series is done and we eventually get a solid ranking on people's favorites for the season once everything has finally wrapped up and tied a bow on the whole season. What this does mean, however, is now we are going to be beginning our journey into the summer anime season, as new shows for the summer season should be airing fairly soon, and I am both looking forward to watching it and also, well, you know how I end up watching the first episode at least of everything, and that is always a bit of a time sink. It's one of those weird things where, like, I enjoy doing it, but it's still hard and stressful at times. So there is a thing where I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also not. It's a thing. Hopefully I am understood in my desires and wants there. I am looking forward to it. There are a number of shows I really do want to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing how, like, either Anime Trending or the internet in general will take to them. But as far as the spring season is concerned, I think we're pretty much there. I think we're pretty much done. And at least as far as this top 10 is concerned, I would not put Heavenly Delusion in first, having now seen all of it. But then again, I've had problems with at least the last couple of episodes, for a number of reasons, not just the obvious one. And to wrap up looking at the chart, of course, my least favorite show of the season, Cheat Skill, jumped yet another 2 positions into 22nd, which does not make me happy at all. And what makes it even worse is that my favorite show of the season, Otaku Elf, has jumped down another position into 28th. I was very happy that one week it hit 24, thinking, oh, we're finally going up, and then now we're back down. Pain. But it just goes to show the things that I happen to like, not everybody else does. So while I may say that Otaku Elf is great and my favorite thing from the season, not many people will agree with me, and that's fine. So that's it for our show today. Subscribe if you haven't, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and until next time, watch more anime and stay frosty.